Good morning, everybody. Hope everyone is doing well. I hope you and your family and your employees are all safe. Hope you've been enjoying the beautiful weather and getting outside. As I've been mentioning in the past, I've actually been riding my bike every single day since this started in mid-March, and I live in Philadelphia, so you can imagine how cold it still was in mid-March. I've only missed 3 days, and today is one of those days because we're having thunderstorms here in Philadelphia. I think it's always interesting to me to see other people's homes, like when we've been watching TV or when people are being interviewed, and notice that everybody has books behind them. In my particular case, we have some books on this side, but mostly artwork on the other side. And you may occasionally see my English bulldog, Roxy, who's 11 years old, last month, occasionally show up in the picture here. So I'm excited to speak to all of you this morning. Again, I hope all is really going well for you. So let's start out with the first question. This question comes from Roland Burnett, and Roland asks, our family business is in the seasonal decor, home and garden decor. I'm building our web store, just started 7 to 8 orders in the first 2 to 3 weeks. The entire concept is to be DekorPlaza, a mall of decor. Thus, we have thousands of products online. I am aware, and I cannot market at all, but also in case I niche down too much, the rest of the products lose relevance. How do you properly market a web store that's not only focused on one specific niche, but contains several niches, and the main aim would also emphasize our web store as the Decor Plaza that has everything decor related to it? Do I build a niche by niche? Thanks in advance. First of all, there's a couple ways that you can go here. One is that you want to get an email list of people who buy this kind of item to market out to them. You also want to go and maybe place AdWords and buy ads on Facebook because you can be very targeted on Facebook. You also want to take the email list I'm sure that you've developed from all your clients who've bought from you in the past and let them know and ask them to get the word out about this new plaza. So you want to leverage your past clients. You want to take a look at Facebook ads. You want to take a look at regional Google ads possibly to start with, or you can go national. You also have to check and see what's the cost of doing specific ads on certain types of decor that Google tracks on the search engine that come up all the time. And some of those things that may be the most popular also probably cost the most because there's so many people going to it. The other thing I think you might do is contact garden clubs and other people who worry about how their houses look and market to them and give them a discount code to use your e-commerce site to go and buy that. So I wouldn't specifically start with a niche because I always think decor is kind of a niche on its own, but I would go and leverage the folks you're already selling to, the folks who come to your Facebook page, who come to your LinkedIn page, where you can buy your Facebook ads, Google ads, and see if there are any other places that market specifically to people who put a lot of money in decor. The second question comes from Brad Coleman. Brad asked, thank you for your time and experience we all value. My question is, when pricing our new products, physical products, how would you start the pricing? My apparel is higher end and I want to be comparable to other higher end brands, except my name isn't where their name is. Can you give some advice on how you started your pricing structure for your company and products? First of all, there are two things you want to do when you're looking at pricing. One is develop a spreadsheet that has all of the pricing of all really apples to apples products. So take a look at everybody you're competing against and see what they're charging. The next thing to do is create a spreadsheet and put all of your cost in there. So the cost for the materials, the cost to produce it, the cost to market it, your cost for electric, your cost for water, your insurance costs, every conceivable cost, put that into a spreadsheet and see what all the costs are. So let's say that all of the cost, when you factor them in, and what you have to do is put all your costs and then divide it by the number of clothing items you are going to produce. So let's say you're going to put out 1,000 jeans. And if you put out the 1,000 jeans, you would go and take a look at all the expenses that you have and divide them into the 1,000 jeans. So let's say that all of your expenses, as I mentioned, your insurance, your rental, your marketing costs, your legal costs, your accounting costs, everything conceivable that you have to spend on this business, including maybe patents for your product or trademarks that you have, divided into the number if it's 1,000. And let's say out of that, it comes out to being $10 a pair of jeans. Now you're going to charge probably $20 for that pair of jeans, because once you start charging 20, then of course you have the distributor cost and so forth. So that's what you might minimally cost. But let's say people are charging for that same thing $100, 10 times that number. So you know what you need to make at least to cover your expenses and your taxes and make some money for yourself. So once you put all of that into a spreadsheet and you've done the comparables, now you'll know what you should charge to do it. And then you have to make a decision, because in certain fields, like in the pharmaceutical area, studies have shown that if you charge less than the competition, people don't think your product is as good, and so they go to another product. So you might want to charge more than the competition to get, if it could carry that kind of cachet. Some cases you're going to go below in certain industries because you want to get as much market share as you possibly can. So you'll often see this in the beverage area, that people will go to a lower price to see if they can carry market share. But oftentimes the best thing to go and do is see what your competition is doing and then promote the benefits of your product over other products. And if you could get a celebrity endorsement, a celebrity to go and mention this on Twitter. So I had a cousin who created jewelry, and he sent free pieces to different celebrities. And Beyonce wore it on a cover of a magazine and also tweeted out about his design. That brought him a lot of business. So he didn't pay for the celebrity to do that. He just sent them free pieces and they went and mentioned it. So oftentimes you'll find that people who get some of these items for free will put it out. And it could be somebody who has as little as 50,000 followers, but that could help you out tremendously. If somebody big like Beyonce or the Kardashians do it, you have millions of followers that go out and do that. Also, you might have your product mentioned by people who write about that in their space. So there'll probably be bloggers and people who tweet about it and people who would show this on Instagram. So all of those people could help sell more, but it would also help you have greater cachet to determine if you should have a higher price. Okay, the next question is from Erica Wilkinson. Erica asked, what are your views on having a small business that's going to fund what you really want to do? I own a cleaning company that isn't something I want to do forever, and I want to get real estate license and buy investment properties that my cleaning property and management company manages. I want to open a real estate office in large areas like Las Vegas, Nashville, and Miami. First of all, I love your thinking. I've known many people who have started other businesses and then taken the money from that and invested. So my ex-father-in-law had a cleaning business just like yours, and he loved gyms. He worked out all the time. So he took that money and the cash flow that came from it to support him starting Gold's Gyms. And at one point he had 3 of them, and they were all very successful over time. So he needed the cash flow from the main business to help him do that. There's another gentleman I met who sells promotional products, and he has taken the money from his promotional products business, which he's actually grown to be quite large. And every year it was his goal to buy a new piece of property. He's been in the business now for 12 years, and he now owns 17 properties. He said he now makes enough money off his properties that he no longer needs his prime business. So he's taking all the money that he would take in salary from his prime business and also investing that in real estate. He believes by the time he's 40 which is only 5 years away, he will have made enough investments in real estate that he'll never have to work again and could retire and just live off of that. So I think that's a great idea to take that cash and do it. I'm currently doing that myself. I have consulting services I provide, and now I'm starting a new e-commerce venture to help people organize themselves to get bank loans and loans from credit unions and factoring organizations. So I'm taking the cash from this business and investing in another business. It's very smart, and I like the idea of going into real estate, which I think always holds its value no matter what over the long haul. So best of luck with that new venture. Ashley Escobar asked, when you started your business, do you think it was more beneficial to get a business loan or have an investor, and why? I ask this question because the business I'm building is already a product, but it is improved. So here's what I would say about that. You are always better off getting a bank loan because bank loans are very inexpensive right now. And if you believe that your business is going to increase in value, so if you priced your stock at $1 and you believe in 4 or 5 years that that price will grow to $3 to $5, why would you not borrow money at 5% as opposed to giving up such great upside in owning the stock in your business? Also, when you get an investor, you now have a partner, no matter what size investment they make. And now they're constantly coming to you and asking you every month, every quarter, I want financial information. I want to meet with you. I want to find out how we're doing or how come we're not selling more. So now you've got somebody who's constantly on your back asking you questions. Now, let's say that you have a product that requires investment capital, but it exceeds what the bank would give you. That's a different story. Then you're going to need to get outside investors to go and take advantage of this. And if you're going to go get outside investors, get people who understand the market and the product that you've developed. Because if you get investors who don't understand it, they have a very short fuse in terms of being willing to wait until your product pans out and is successful. So if in fact you developed a software product in a cybersecurity area, best to get investors who are IT professionals or even sold cybersecurity, and especially if they know who you're selling to. So if you're selling to large corporations, they know it's a long lead time until you actually close a deal. So with investors, you really need to get people who are patient, who understand what they're doing. But if you don't need investors, my new venture called Funding Organizer, I don't need any outside investors. And if I did need money, I would definitely go to the bank because bank money is so cheap right now that you can't pass up on this. And I know that many of the banks are going to ask you to put up your house or put up other assets in order to get the loan. But it's still worth it if you believe you've got a great product or a service that you're offering and you believe that this is going to have huge success, then it's worth taking the risk to go and do that. And even if things go sideways, often the times the banks will extend the period of time that you have to pay them back, and they'll work with you on it, especially if you are honest with them. Anytime things are going wrong, it's always best to let your banker know what's going wrong. And oftentimes they're very good at helping people either through extending the loan, changing the loan structure, even making introductions to other clients who could either buy your service or maybe even invest in whatever your product or service is in. So it never hurts to go and really get to know your banker and trust them. What information do you have on applying for a business grant? Which is the site that's best? I have a cleaning company and eBay store, but these are just stepping stones to get where I want. But in the meantime, I want to keep pushing until I get to where I want to be. First of all, there's very few out-and-out grants out there. There are loans that you can get from economic development organizations, and every single county in the United States has an economic development organization that gets money from both the state and the federal government. And and they provide loans for machinery, for buying buildings, a whole host of different things. In some states, for technology companies, there are grants in the form of investment into the company. So it's not an outright grant that you can go and get and take that money and not give up equity. But the federal government does have small business innovation research grants, and that's applicable to people who are developing medical devices, biotechnology, pharmaceutical, some cases software, and other types of products that the government feels would be beneficial both to the government and to society. And those grants, I believe, start at $250,000 and go up to $1 or $2 million. But look up small business innovation research grants, and you'll find them. And different departments have them. So the State Department, I believe, has it. The Agricultural Department has it. The Defense Department has it. And those are grants that you don't have to give up any equity, and they will go and help you springboard your company to the next level. But when you're applying for those grants, you have to develop a very strong business case and business plan for why you think that they should provide this money. And in most cases, it really has to be kind of a novel idea. So in the case of what you've described to me, probably there are no grants out there that you're going to go and get, but there are great low interest rate loans that, depending on your area and what they're trying to promote in terms of attracting and keeping businesses, those would be the areas that could be possibly covered that would help you. The next question is from Gabriel Suarez. Do I make Natural Life Stores brand, that is literally Natural Life products branded identical as the chain of stores, or do I make a separate brand and make this and our other brand, our house brand, that is sold across all locations as the Natural Life brand, but is not branded Natural Life? What would I want to do versus the other? I see examples of both out there and can't figure out why one may be better fit for me. So there's two schools of thought here. One is, if there's a brand that's already well known and already has a good halo effect, that people understand it, trust it, then you probably want to go and leverage that brand. And for your house brand, if in fact that brand is also well known to your customers and you have an email database and you can email those folks and ask them to let their friends know, and so you can get a viral effect, then that's a good way that you should go. I think anytime that you decide to go and change a name, that means you're going to have to spend money educating the audience about what the product is, what the benefits are, why it's better than other products that are out there in the market already. So that makes it that much harder to go and do. It's infinitely better to go and leverage a name that's already had investment, that people are already familiar with, as opposed to starting from scratch. I often, when I would start a new venture, I would always feel very pained for the amount of money I would have to spend in order to get people to even know that we existed and to go and educate that market. And a lot of times you run through all your money just educating the market. So again, best thing to do is leverage the existing brand already. You also have an in-house brand that people are familiar with, but don't start from scratch and trying to build a new brand totally, unless it's a radically different product and you've got a lot of cash to go and market that particular product. Well, I hope I've been helpful for you today. I look forward to future questions. I will see you all in a couple weeks. Please take the time to exercise, enjoy your families, get out there, enjoy the summer, because summers go so quick. And I know it's really difficult right now because we all feel like we're in a minimum security prison. But if we all can get through this together, stay healthy, we're all going to look at 2021 and be thankful that we actually got through it. So again, enjoy your summer, and I will see you in 2 weeks. Have a great rest of the day and a fantastic weekend.